The Book of Thel by William Blake. A useful way to enter this poem is to note that the word Thel recalls the Greek word for wish or longing. Thel lives in an earthly paradise, the Vales of Har, resembles the Garden of Eden. But even though she is in this realm of natural beauty, she is dissatisfied. She is unhappy. She yearns for something else. Now this wishing, though, of Thel doesn't seem to generate any end. It doesn't generate anything. She doesn't work very hard to fulfill her wishes. Instead, her wishing seems to be, again, a kind of idle yearning for something else. We've all felt that, right? I'm not too happy with how things are going now. There's got to be something else. What is this something elseness? So we enter into escapist fantasies to make us feel better for a little while, but ultimately we do not act on those escapist fantasies and therefore stay in the same situation that we're not happy with to begin with. So, if you look at the title page for the Book of Thel, you see a shepherdess standing to the left side of the page. This is probably Thel. She has a crozier or a shepherd's crook. And she looks kind of longingly at these two figures in the middle of the page. A female who is running toward her, very tiny. You have to look at the Blake Archive to see this. A female who's running toward her, and a male who is diving at the female. We wonder, is he sexually assaulting her? Or is he engaging in a kind of erotic play that this woman endorses? We don't know. But the point is that Thel is to the side of the action. And the action, be it violent or be it erotic or a combination thereof, is not something that she herself engages in. So Thel is a kind of voyeur, and therefore brings with her the psychology of the voyeur, who is someone who does not want to act him or herself, but enjoys watching others act, takes vicarious pleasure. So look at the poem, The Book of Thel. What is Thel's problem? She is worried about her transience. She says, oh my gosh, what's going to happen to me? I'm going to get old. I'm going to pass away. What's going to happen to me? In other words, she can't enjoy the present moment. She's worried about some kind of nebulous negative experience in the future. So she talks to three different creatures in the Vales of Har to try to get answers that might help her feel more satisfied in the Vales of Har. So she first sees a lily. And the lily, of course, it's white, pure, suggesting virginity. It seems that Thel herself is a virgin. And she says to the lily, hey, are you happy? I'm not, because I'm going to pass away. I'm transient. And the lily says, yeah, I'll pass away, but when I do, I'll enter into this kind of grand natural cycle where my current energy will be translated into other processes, and that makes me happy. And Thel says, I don't know, that doesn't really help me out. And so the lily says, well, go see the cloud. Thel goes to see the cloud. The cloud is male. He is not a virgin. He says, hey, that's amazing. I love hanging out with Luva, Blake's word for Apollo, roughly, the sun god. And I love when Luva comes about, and I can enter into the holy tent of the shining dew. And the dew is female. So every morning the cloud and the dew kind of mingle sexually with one another as the light of the sun comes up. It's very, very lovely. Of course, Thel says, oh, no, I can't do that. It's as if she just can't participate in that kind of erotic cycle. So yet again, she gets a pretty good answer about how to be happy, but she doesn't take it. It's as if she is bent on being unhappy. We know people like this. I guess I'm a little bit like it too. Sometimes it's better just to say you're unhappy. There's a comfort in that. Oh, I'm unhappy, than to actually do something about being unhappy, which is very hard work. So Thel's just not going to work that hard to feel better. Oh, I'm unhappy. And so the cloud says, well, go see the little worm there on the earth. So now Thel moves from the erotic world of light to the world of death, the world of earth and darkness. And the little worm is there, and the clod of clay speaks on behalf of the worm. The clod of clay says, okay, you know what, Thel? I'm going to let you experience death, just to show you that you really don't need to be so upset about everything. So, like Persephone, Thel is going to be allowed to go into the underworld. So here's what happens in the poem. Thel goes into underground and goes to her own gravesite. And this voice of sorrow breathes up from the pit. Why cannot the ear be closed to its own destruction, or the glistening eye to the poison of a smile? Why are eyelids stored with arrows ready drawn, where 1,000 fighting men in ambush lie? Or an eye of gifts and graces, showering fruits and coin gold? Why a tongue impressed with honey from every wind? Why an ear a whirlpool fierce to draw creations in? Why a nostril wide, inhaling terror, trembling and affright? Why a tender curve upon the youthful burning boy? Why a little curtain of flesh on the bed of our desire? The virgin starts from her seat, and with a shriek, she fled back unhindered till she came to the vales of Har. Now, the most obvious way to read this is that Thel is welcomed into the world of generation, the world of birth and death, the fallen world. And even though it's not so bad, I mean, you get a list of fallen experiences. There's hypocrisy, there's cruelty, but also the ear is like a whirlpool, to take in sounds that you can turn into creations. And sometimes the eye is an eye of generosity and charity. So there are lovely things in this world of experience, lovely energies that can create poems and works of art. But Thel doesn't seem to get that. She seems to focus only on the negative stuff and runs back into the world of innocence, vales of Har. Now, in his mature mythology, Blake will suggest this, that if you stay too long in the earthly paradise, if you stay in the realm of innocence too long, it becomes hell. You can think of it, if you're like 35 years old and you love your parents so much that you're living in their basement, well, that can be a kind of hell. So Blake has this sense that you can't stay innocent forever. It's perverse to stay innocent forever. You need to fall into the world of experience, the world he calls generation. And only when you fall into generation from innocence can you then understand the value of innocence. And can you then try to work to bring innocence and experience together into powerful combinations, which usually result in works of art. So we see here in the book of Thel, one way of looking at it is that Thel is afraid to move into the world of generation, the world of love and death, and goes running back to the vales of Har. Well, she'll probably remain a malcontent and create a kind of living hell for herself.